because I remember when we're building the team. Oh man. Now I'm not trying to throw shades at anybody here. Like the team were awesome. People that were on the team were awesome. The issue was in the beginning, there's a lot of figuring out. Like, and as a founder, your way of thinking is different than a person that you're adding on to sort of like take over a role, if that makes sense. So as a founder, you are a different role. You wear many hats. One day I'm in charge of operations, another I'm in finance, another day I'm on the ground talking to a landlord or talking to students or pitching. Like I'm wearing different hats. Same thing for Kevin, same thing for Kwesi, who's our CTO as well. But your way of thinking is different to someone essentially coming in to fill in a role. In the sense that someone that's filling in a role, and there's nothing wrong with that, but essentially someone that's filling in a role is essentially there to fill that role, and that's it. In the sense that if, for example, your job is to let me take a random. Let's, for example, your job is to do social media. Okay. As a founder, I have different expectations than you would as someone that's in charge of social media. So social media will just come and be like, okay, I should be on social media. I'll be posting maybe 1 or 2 posts a day or 1 or 2 posts a week, and then I will engage with maybe 3 or 4 pages a week, and then that's it. But you as a founder, you're like, okay, that post that we're posting today, how is that gonna lead us to 2 or 3 more followers? Or is that gonna lead us to 1 more sign up on the app? And how is this engagement going to lead me to more essentially attract, essentially give me more visibility and attract more people to my platform? Like you think differently. And so the reason why I say that is because when we're starting, okay, I think it was about maybe like that first year, and that's when I knew that I wanted to like double down on the left. That first year, thinking we didn't have, like, there was no product, no nothing. It was just an idea that we had in mind. And we went through this one accelerator. It was called like the accelerator. It was out of Calgary. I think we actually had to pay to get in, which is crazy. But anyway, that's a different story. We went through an accelerator out of Calgary, and I remember, I think it was like the last, like at the end they have I think it's called like the startup showcase, where like essentially each platform, that each idea that went through the program, at the end they come in and they pitch the business and all that stuff in front of like an audience. So like some are investors, some are grants, all that stuff, right? And so Kevin actually was the one that went. Kevin and Kwesi went. I didn't go. Kevin and Kwesi went. Kevin actually went there and he pitched to this one angel investor. And taking, like I said, there was no product. Like there was no product. It was just an idea. Kevin went and he met an investor and he managed to sell the idea to the investor to the point where the investor took out his wallet and actually signed a check to a bunch of 18 and 19-year-olds that had just an idea, which to me was crazy. No, right? It was crazy. And I remember Kevin sent us that picture on the group chat. He's like, yep, this one is in the bag. I got it. I was like, you got it. He's like, yep, coming in the mail. Make sure you check the bank because it's coming in. I was like, bro. And I remember, I think maybe like 2-3 weeks later, the check actually cleared and it came in. I was like, oh my goodness. It was legit. Yeah. Like, it went from like just an idea to like, oh snap, this is real now. Like this is actually real. Like now we actually have to execute on this, And when we got these grants, the cool thing about, sorry, when we got the check, the cool thing about this is about grants here in Canada is that, like, there's like a lot of like grants and wage subsidies that if you have $1,000, example, if let's example you have $10, you can turn that into $30 or $40. Because like the wage subsidy, for example, they can cover, let's say for example, you have a wage subsidy that can cover up to like 70% of a wage or somebody's wage. So if you put 10,000, if you put like $10,000, they will cover the remaining $7,000. So then you keep if you have $10,000, if the contract costs $10,000, okay, you put 3K, they put the other 7K. Now of course you have to pay the 10K, but then they'll pay you back the 7K. So then you keep the 7K and then you spend only 3K instead of 10K. And so that's actually how we're able to like stretch the dollars. And the reason why I say that is because we knew we could do that. We're like, oh well, if we want to grow fast, we need to hire more. And so at one point the team was about 17 people. Yeah. Yep. 17 people. 17 talented people. Now the challenge, like I said at the beginning, we were still figuring out. And because all of us were figuring out, the people that we hired sort of like the people that we hired, like they were not like figuring out like we were figuring out. They're figuring in the sense of like, okay, what's my duties? Like what am I supposed to do? But us, we're also figuring out, okay, like, okay, now we've reached this point. What are each of these people supposed to do? And what are we even ourselves supposed to do? Which we hadn't figured that out yet. So we just hired, but then it was like every day we're just figuring out, and it was like no clear metric, and there was no, and so it was self like, of course we're growing, but we were burning more money than actually like getting the return on our investments. And so at some point we had to make the honest decision to be like, you know what, you're a great, super talented person, but we have to let you go. And I have to let people go one by one by one. Super, like, they don't tell you this when you're running a business, but letting people go, man, it's one of the most heart wrenching thing to do, man. I'm telling you, like, because I had to do it, and it's super challenging, like, because like you get close to those people, right? But over time and stuff, I realized like, okay, we don't need to have like a big team. Like, let's cut down into maybe like, because I want people to cut down to like three people, with just me, Kevin, and Kwesi, and we're like, okay, the three of us have to figure out what the hell is going on, and then from there we sort of like put out a game plan and started going from three, and then like literally the strategy for us to add another person to the team was, unless me, Kevin, and Kwesi are absolutely stretched like as thin as possible, then we can add somebody else to the team. Otherwise, we have to stay and we have to move as a unit of three people. And then that's how it went. Yeah.